करती जयकारा, गगन है सारा गूंजा रे। जग में लहराया न्यारा ध्वज है हमारा ऊंचा रे।
हम वो योद्धा वो निडर, हम जो भी दिशा में जाए,
सारे पथ चरण छुए और पर्वत शीस नवाए।
रास्ते से हट जाए नदियां हो के हवाए।
हम है जियाले जीतने को, हम रण में उतरते हैं। हम सूरज है अंत, हम ही रातों का करते हैं। युग युग की जंजीरों को हमने ही काटा रे। बोल उठाए जग सारा, जय मर्द मराठा रे।
जो रक्त है तन में बहता,
वो हमसे है ये कहता।
सम्मान के बदले जान भी दे तो नहीं है घाटा रे।
युग युग की जंजीरों को हमने ही काटा रे। बोल उठाए जग सारा, जय मर्द मराठा रे। युग युग की जंजीरों को हमने ही काटा रे। बोल उठाए जग सारा, जय मर्द मराठा रे।
सच के सिपाही अलबेले राही, क्या जानते हो तुम? जब तुम नहीं थे हम कब यही थे, हम भी थे जैसे तुम ध्यान में थे, तुम प्राण में थे जैसे जन्म जन्म। जब तीर तुम पे बरसे तो जैसे घायल हुए थे हम। ओ देखो तो मुझसे कह के मैं जान दे दूं तुम पे, क्या तुम नहीं ये जानते? दुविधा के आगे जब नारी जागे, हिम्मत से काम ले। चूड़ी उतारे कंगन उतारे, तलवार थाम ले।
मैंने ली आज शपथ है, वीरों का पथ है मेरा रे। लक्ष्य अपना जो बना लूं, वहीं पे डालू डेरा रे।
हम वो योद्धा वो निडर, हम जो भी दिशा में जाए। सारे पथ चरण छुए और पर्वत शीस नवाए। रास्ते से हट जाए नदियां हो के हवाए। हम है जियाले जीतने को, हम रण में उतरते हैं। हम सूरज है अंत, हम ही रातों का करते हैं। युग युग की जंजीरों को हमने ही काटा रे। बोल उठाए जग सारा, जय मर्द मराठा रे।
Easy work, easy cooking, you fools, on a regular basis, man. It's like, why do I even get on here to entertain you clowns? The easy work that that it's to put in with the YTBC, with these trolls. You think it's all right to declare war against me? One person had the audacity to even leak out personal information while I was at my lowest. Easy work. Easy work. However, people need to understand that there's clowns out there, and I'm now declaring a full eradication. We're going to eradicate these clowns. I will destroy them.
I'm not a paycheck for some paychecks. She think I'm dumb, she think I'm dumb, she think I'm dumb. Went in my bucket and swapped out 500 ones. She think I'm...
All right. Now we continue the show with some of these pretty good fights coming up with, Canelo Alvarez fighting Berlanga. I have Canelo Alvarez absolutely beating that punk bitch ass up in the first 6 rounds. I think Berlanga wants to be the real deal. Of course, he has a look on his face, like he wants to do something. However, the gaps in his defense are gaping holes, and I feel like Canelo is going to beat the living hell out of him. This Berlanga is sitting here going toe to toe with Chance and getting knocked down. This is not. These are not good signs. Not good signs at all. However, I'm not going to say that it's outside of Berlanga to pull off the victory. Let's not be ignorant to the facts. Of course, if he rises to the occasion and lets his hands go, of course he'll have that chance. But I don't have any problem with him winning, as long as it's done in a respectable manner, and he doesn't try to stink out the joint with some bullshit boxing experience. I make it a point to put the pressure on these guys who call themselves analysts, reporters. If you're just a content creator on YouTube, because I try to cut it down the middle. I really do cut it down the middle. I bring skills. I bring resumes. I mean, resumes matter only to a point. Okay, if you face all the styles, you might see some nobody, drip through the cracks and beat a top level guy. But what I say, Canelo is necessarily acquitted of ducking people. I mean, of course, he's ducked Benavidez, he's ducked William Scholl for promotional reasons, not gathering enough revenue. Um, I mean, it's a tough ask. It's a tough ask here because, like, skill for skill, Canelo versus Berlanga. I mean, Berlanga would have to really turn up the volume. He would have to really find his shots against someone like Canelo Alvarez. And I just feel like Canelo's defense is going to be key to exposing all this. I mean, Berlanga, if he gets caught by one of Berlanga's shots in an awkward way, yeah, something could happen. But I guarantee you that chances are he's not going to catch him. Because I don't see Berlanga winning on a scorecard. The only way he beats Canelo Alvarez is by knockout. Like, if this fight goes the distance, he's not going to get it. No way. Like, even, I mean, especially Canelo being the guy. You know you're not going to get a decision over him. You're going to have to really make it decisive. You got to make sure you put some emphasis on it. Otherwise, a win against Canelo Alvarez is just not going to be there. But I would say that much about Canelo. I mean, I may not support him wholeheartedly. I mean, I think he's a great fighter, but he also has his, there's personal points that I don't like about the man, like not fighting a couple of your mandatories, stuff like that, because these guys come up the ladder, and the fact that he was given that opportunity at certain times in his career to fight a great when they didn't have to, or even because they were mandated to. The point should not be outside of who's the best man. Who's the, not necessarily who's the biggest draw every day of the week, but the fact that he's not fighting somebody because they don't generate enough revenue is suspicious. I'm just saying that's just a silly excuse. That's a silly excuse. It shouldn't matter if he generates $5,000 or how much, man. If he's in that position to be your mandatory, I mean, you should fight the man. I don't care if you fight him at a stadium in Toronto or Estadio Azteca down there in Ciudad de Mexico. Just fight the man. And fight him in a barn. Just fight the man. It's not rocket science to put together these events. But when you have, these big stars not necessarily doing this, that's because they try to use the money as excuse, like I said. Because not everybody's signed by Eddie Hearn. Not everybody's signed by Bob Arum. Not everybody's signed by Al Heyman. Not everybody's signed with Samson. Not everybody's signed with Al Heyman. Some guys come from these regional promotions, and they get screwed out of world title shots that they earned. And it's a political fact about the sport. And the whole entire point here is that the whole entire, rather, if you blame it on the athletic commission or blame it on matchmakers or the promoters, if it's not one of their guys at the top level or at that little club that draws all that revenue between them 4 or 5 promoters I just brought up, you're not going to get a fair shake. Is what I'm saying. If you got like a small promoter like Aegon, right, who's William Scholl's promoter, you're not going to get through to the top level. You're just not. And you unless if you prove your worth and actually have a lawyer that'll actually place that in effect like he did, and that's the only reason why he's fighting for Shiskin versus Shiskin for that IBF belt. It's all about showing the balls. Sometimes that's the only way you get a fair shake is through lawsuits and litigation, or by mandating and suing so they can mandate. Easy work. It's the fact that William Scholl brought the facts. But moving on, we can move on to everything that these clowns were talking about. Everything that, well, let's just move on to Canelo Alvarez and his next possible opponent after Berlanga. I mean, saying that he makes it past Berlanga, which is everyone's personal pick, I guess. I mean, there's not too many options. I mean, you got the IBF the unification with the potential IBF champion, Scholar Shiskin, or he could fight someone like a rematch of Caleb Plant. Who knows? Who knows? There's no telling, because it's all about generating revenue. So basically, the point that Canelo was trying to make is, he doesn't care who you fought, but if your resume doesn't match up and you don't generate enough revenue, he's not going to mess around with you. He doesn't care if you're his mandatory or anything. That's the point he's making. But I'm sure that he'd fight but I'm sure the IBF, they had a past of putting fighters in complex situations. However, keeping them updated is of utmost importance, especially if you want to be an IBF champion for a long time. It's all like they really go by the rules nowadays. They really do. I mean, when it's different when a fighter is injured. I would say with the IBF's rules, like if a champion is injured, they'll give him a good enough time to recover before updates resume. But the IBF is like reporting to. I feel like it's a form of reporting to a probation officer. Like if you don't, like if you're an IBF champion and you don't go by those guidelines, right? Those bylaws and all that, they're gonna violate you, bro. You're not gonna be the champ anymore. That's the only way I know how to explain it. You know, no, yes, they've had their issues in the past, but the IBF, I'd say, are the true Wild West of the division, or of any divisions when it comes to the four sanctioned bodies. However, we must continue. The show must continue on.
अंबे जगदंबे तू साऱ्या जगाची आई पाप तारी विघ्नहारी साऱ्या मोशाची पालनकारी आदिशक्ती अधिकारी साऱ्या दैत्यांचा बधकारी धनलक्ष्मी विद्याधारी साऱ्या भक्तांची माझी माऊली माझ्या माऊलीचा उदो अंबा भवानी आईचा उदो माझ्या माऊलीचा उदो आई अंबेचा उदो माझ्या माऊलीचा उदो अंबा भवानी आईचा उदो माझ्या माऊलीचा उदो भक्तांना तारीशी सूर दैत्य मारीशी बेल फूल वाहुनी नतमस्तक होऊनी सिंहावर बैसूनी त्रिशूळ घेऊनी भक्तांच्या हाकेला धावली माझी माऊली माझी माऊली अग दुर्गे अग चंडे तू महारुद्र अवतारी सुरमर्दिनी सती पार्वती सुख दुःखात धावणारी आदिशक्ती अधिकारी साऱ्या दैत्यांचा बधकारी धनलक्ष्मी विद्याधारी साऱ्या भक्तांची माझी माऊली शिवशक्ती दुर्गा तू माझ्या भक्तांना पावतू संकट मोक्षक तू साऱ्या जगाचा उद्धार कर तू माझी माऊली माझी माऊली
चरणकृतं वा कायजं कर्मजं वा श्रवणनयनजं वा मानसं वापराधम् विहितमविहितं वा सर्वमेतत् क्षमस्व। जय जय करुणाब्धे श्री।
Krogat, Nilatat, Oiltat, Mael, Iwatuaman, Begio, Rokaki, Eljaya. Nilatan, puedo. Ismael, you are Turman. Begiu, Rokaki, El Jaya.
Pura fuerza regia, viejo, otro pedo viejo. Como patino, como chino, como chiquilín. Radicamos en South Centro, el negocio anda muy fuerte, esta zona controlamos. Polo blanco manejamos, para ser exacto, en cuadrito los mandamos. Comenzamos desde abajo, batallando y batallando, como la perreamos, poco a poco vamos avanzando. Pónganse trucha, chavalos, porque hay muchos envidiosos que nos quieren ver para abajo. No se olvida aquel día cuando cae el compa chino en la oficina lo agarraron. Los azules lo rodearon, pues un dedo les pusieron, sabían dónde estaba el clavo, que en la escuelita se aventó un buen rato. Ahora lo verán contento en su ram por la central, bien a gusto chicoteado. Una morra por un lado, pa'l desestrés, es muy enamorado. De los corridos originales. Como chiquilín, y juega para la Vega, viejo, más JG. Hasta luego, viejo. Corbe blanco va llegando, eso significa Jota que anda aterrizando. En los antros cotorreando, botella 6 siempre lo verán brindando. Bucana del 18, con el morralito, siempre por un lado. La 45 pa' aquellos que andan hablando. Con Patino anda el tiro, con un cuchillía saben de lo que hablo. Guerrero es su estado, San Luis en las lomas donde él fue criado. Autopista 91, en su X6 negocios andan arreglando. O tal vez en su Camaro lo verán paseando. Con Patino, váyanse arreglando. Nos vamos al Velayo a despabilar.
All right, man. It's time to get back to it. It's time to get back to it. I enjoy roasting these clowns on here on a daily basis, but I just want to talk about boxing. Let's talk about boxing for a change. You know, I could care less what everybody feels about me out there in the YTBC. I could care less. But I knew back when I talked to Don Repit and BDA and Bucho, one of the things we had talked about. You know, and after time, not spending very much thinking about how I could still build off of that CCD model, right? And perhaps a little time dealing with things on my own project could help produce better support for the CCD. Indeed, you know. So these clowns who think they can mess with me, they're just not on my level. But talking boxing, I mean, shit, we had some good fights over the weekend. We had some really good fights. But it was just, some of them were just problematic. You know, some robberies here. I mean, it seems like we're getting more prone to robberies. So it's really, really hard to say what is and what is not going to happen. However, we can only look forward to the future rather than being pissed off about robberies. No, this Fedora and Spence situation, suppose it happens. I feel it's an interesting matchup because you have one guy who had to deal with some time off after going through car wreck and getting beaten up by Bud Crawford. You know, those are some situations to recover from. And now they're going to put him in there with Sebastian Fedora, who's known for using his Muay Thai elbow to cut open people's faces. So, I mean, especially when you look at the Tim Tszyu fight, there's a golden example. But the fact of the matter is here, how do they really think 154 pounds is going to shake up? Is that going to be Bud's swan song? Perhaps. Because there's no way in hell I see him competing against Canelo, dealing with his punch resistance at 154 pounds, his punching power at 154. Perhaps we shouldn't underestimate Madrimov, but it did not look very good for him. However, people are talking about a possible Virgil Ortiz and Bud Crawford matchup. I wish this narrative would stop being spread around, because these outlets, they're not in there in negotiations. I mean, they really don't know if they can make that at the moment. But suppose that it does happen, give them credit. Suppose that it does happen. And Virgil would have to bring the fucking power, bro. Like, he's a huge underdog, especially after his last performance. He's not the KO king, is he? I mean, Boachuk didn't necessarily make him look like he was the best in the world. Let's say that. The way that he was, I mean, sorry, he was landing straight punches at will. I mean, Virgil was having to really catch him offline. He had to improvise with his footwork, which was impressive. However, he seemed to be a step or two off at certain points against Boachuk. Rather, if whomever you say won that fight, it's outside the point. What would Virgil do against the Bud Crawford? Of course, Bud Crawford is not 6 foot tall, and rehydrates to someone of the size of Sergey Boachuk. So I mean, I'm not saying Sergey is a weight bully or anything like that. I'm just saying that guy, he's not necessarily the smallest of them all. So we should then move on to what does Virgil bring to the table that could cause Bud Crawford problems? Because what I saw is, if Virgil can't get to the inside of Bud Crawford, he is not going to. He will have to beat him outside than in. But if he cannot get work or put in work to defeat Bud Crawford, I mean, I see the worst for Virgil. I see a possible stoppage, but it's either he stops Bud or Bud stops him. That's exactly what's going to happen. I don't see that fight going the distance. I think it's too violent of a interaction for it to go the distance. And suppose that it does go the distance, I don't expect them to get a victory over Bud Crawford on the scorecards. Not at all. Not at all. That's the reason. That's part of the reasons why I don't want to see the fight, because the possibility of that going the distance, man. I know Bud Crawford's got one foot on that. I mean, it's just so easy. It's just so easy to predict these things. And if they don't like the facts that I'm bringing, I mean, I don't know what to tell them.
Un rato, me despido. Una junta yo les pido. A huevo viejo. Y pura fuerza regia.
And now, making his way to the ring, he is the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, Saul Canelo
Easy work cooking these fools up on here. Easy work. Every day of the week, educating these clowns on social media. You know, people, they just don't realize what's about to happen throughout the YTBC. That the Emperor is the greatest of all time. There's no doubt about that. All right, let's see what kind of clownery is going on down here. Usually when somebody comments, it's a bunch of insults. Let's see. Why do you need sparring footage, man? Nobody has the balls to spar me. Especially when there's a camera around. Oh my goodness. Taking an ass whipping from me is like, it's not gonna be a light intro, put it that way. There's going to be some fire. There's gonna be some fire. The fact that they couldn't accept the fact that the clownery had to stop. You know, we still may be able to make it happen. That's the funny thing here. Like, all I have to do is find a bump. The thing is, you know, being tied up with work and a few personal matters here and there. Yeah, it keeps me from going out there to those locations where I can do it without, of course, breaking the law to that extent. Like, you do that in an area like I am, man, you'll end up in jail easily. I mean, unless if you meet up in a backyard or something like that. It's not like anybody's open for that. Yeah, shout out to Never Sober. Shout out to Ruddy Games. Shout out to CCD, CDB, you know, PPP. You know, realize that I bring the smoke, 110%, and nobody can ever match me. They just need to know that there's levels to this game. And this right here has been an absolute great show. Appreciate you guys. It's going to be an epic show. An epic, epic show. And just watch what happens in the Ytbc after this drops. It's going to be easy work. Easy work. This is Tokyo Sports Media. Signing out.
चमके सितारे देखो हमारे शत्रु तो सारे हारे जय हो हम वो सिपाही जो है सदा ही रूप शिवा का धारे जय हो हे आज अंधेरे छटे हैं कम हुए हैं घटे हैं कल जो दुश्मन यहाँ थे आज पीछे हटे हैं गाती ये धरती है गाता ये अंबर है गाती है सारी हवा तेरे मन में शिवा मेरे मन में शिवा सांसों में शिवा प्राणों में शिवा हर घड़ी में शिवा हर दिशा में शिवा आज गुंजा हुआ है जय जय शिवा तेरे मन में शिवा मेरे मन में शिवा सांसों में शिवा प्राणों में शिवा हर घड़ी में शिवा हर दिशा में शिवा आज गुंजा हुआ है जय जय शिवा तेरे मन में शिवा
छत्रपती सह्याद्रीचा आठवे शिवाजी राजा आज गा वंदितो तुम्हा शिवराया राहू दे कृपेची छाया आठवे शिवाजी राजा आज गा
सारी दीवारें भी सारी तलवारें भी तुमने दुश्मन की अब तोड़ दी है आई थी आंधियां जिस दिशा से यहाँ उस दिशा मोड़ती है
पार उतरना ही था ये तो करना ही था ये तो होना ही था सुन ले भाऊ उनको जाना ही था हमको आना ही था ये तो होना था भाऊ
हाँ देश भी आज अपना है देश पे राज अपना है अपना ही तो सिंहासन है और जो है ताज अपना है हिम्मत की अग्नि में लोहा पिघलता है विश्वास हमको हुआ तेरे मन में शिवा
मेरे मन में शिवा
सांसों में शिवा
प्राणों में शिवा
हर घड़ी में शिवा
हर दिशा में शिवा
आज गुंजा हुआ है जय जय शिवा तेरे मन में शिवा मेरे मन में शिवा सांसों में शिवा प्राणों में शिवा हर घड़ी में शिवा हर दिशा में शिवा आज गुंजा हुआ है जय जय शिवा तेरे मन में शिवा
OG Blaze salute. OG Blaze salute. What's up, man? All right, we're gonna leave the we're gonna put the StreamYard out there for one more moment to see if anybody wants to hop on. But other than that, we're just gonna play some Hindi music until we recycle back over the outro. And yeah, let's see if we can't get a little show going here. But we're doing easy work. Easy work. But nobody wants to handle the smoke. See, that's the thing. Nobody wants to handle the smoke. I mean, I'm gonna give it probably another 3 minutes to hop on the panel, and then I'm just gonna play the outro again. If anybody wants to hop on the panel. Yeah, not much going on, man. That's true. All these clowns, they're about to get eradicated, so there's about to be a lot going on. I'm gonna go to several panels and absolutely eviscerate these clowns. I'm gonna target the Phantom and their clown network over there, and yeah, we're gonna have a good time trolling, edge lording. Just being the great Emperor Tokenies. A lot of these clowns. Oh, most definitely. Always put in that hard work. Always put in that hard work. Tomorrow it's going to be an interesting project. So over there on the Discord, I'll definitely keep you guys posted on that project because that's a pretty interesting project indeed. A lot of these clowns, they're just not ready for that smoke. They just have problems every day of the week. all these LDBC and all those divisions over there, man. You know, your guys from the Tavern and the Phantom Zone. You know, I'm starting to really get irritated with some of those clowns bringing up personal information. You know, supposedly someone I was associated with, right? Had linked some information, but now we're going to go eradicate these clowns, and we're going to do it from a multi-front approach. This is not going to be conducted in a very nice manner, put it that way. This is going to be top of the tier. This is going to be the creme de la creme. So God bless everybody who supports it, supports Tokyo sports media. This is Tokyo signing out.